work. So it's very
That's
helpful
brilliant.
and educative so far.
That's brilliant. Great.
Hussein,
Yes, he.
he's my discussion partner.
Yeah, please come again.
I said he's my discussion partner.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you find yourself in the same discussion group. Hey, that's great. Hey, how were you able to find yourself in this random sampling? Because the sampling was done randomly.
And Hussein,
Yes.
I think he's going to top the
Yes,
class
see.
with the rate at which he's working. He's going
He's
to be the
going.
best. He's going to top the class. Yes.
Wow.
It doesn't represent what my boss is saying, because there are others who are working far ahead of me.
I see. This is interesting.
I'm sure she's on module 3 as we speak.
Hey. I see have a lot of people that are moving, faster. I think that also helps, at least to manage the time. Once you're a little bit ahead, it helps. But it's very, very good. But I'm so interested to find how you're able to be in the same group from the random sampling.
Boss, not necessarily in the same group, but when we come to work, because we find ourselves on the same platform, we choose to discuss the study so far.
Oh, okay.
Just to share our views and know where we are doing well and where we are not doing well. So that's basically what we both do.
Okay, that's very, very brilliant.
Yes, yes.
Brilliant team.
Yes. And if I should chip in, I think last Friday I tried to take the module 3 quiz.
Great.
Yeah. So because I saw from the timetable, if you don't take time, the ILP will be piling up. So if you work extra, it will lessen the burden on you. Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's very great. That's very good. I get encouragement from this. Like once you see other people moving, ahead, one step ahead, it encourages all of us to also work hard, and get things done.
Yes.
Yes. This is very, very good. Okay. So I think we are about 11 in the room now. I think
we are
for about when it's 4:15, we'll start. We just want the group to populate a little bit, but 4:15 exactly we'll start. So we'll be starting in the next 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Let me find out from I see Patience. Patience, good afternoon. Yeah, Patience. Yes, good afternoon. How far with the Model 1 quiz and the ILP?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yes. Yeah, please go ahead. I think, Fisher, your sound is not so clear. Mhm. So kindly rectify it and then you come back on board. Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, it's clear now.
Okay. Afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Let's find out how far with Model 1, ILP, and then the quiz.
Okay, so I think I'm done with the module 1 quiz and the ILP. And
Great.
with the module 2, I'm done with the quiz. I'm on the ILP. I should be finishing this evening.
That's very good news to hear. Yeah. And how do you see the program so far?
I think the program is very insightful. I'm really learning a lot of stuff. Yes, I think it's even helping me know myself more. Some strengths and then some weaknesses, some things that need to be improved upon, and then some values, core values that I think need be need to be worked on, which will go a long way to help me in my career. So I think it's very, very insightful, very informative as well. I think I'm enjoying.
That's very great to know that. Yeah. Keep up the great work. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to Mr. Sant. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Asante. Mr. Asante. I think the network is not so great. Okay. I think it's 4:15 now. Okay, so we'd like to start so that we can be able to stick with the time. Can you give me some few minutes? Yeah, let me see. Yes. Good evening. How far? You are finding it difficult to join. It is incorrect. H, they are capital letters. Yes. Are they open? I'm counting. It's ELH7X. Yes. The X is small letter. Small letter. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yes, I think we'll start, now. So this is It's 4:15 now, so I'd like to start today's discussion. Yes. Okay. So today happens to be our,
Second.
a site meeting, second site meeting, and we'll be looking at lessons that we've learned from Model 1 and 2, and I will tackle any other matters very quickly. Yes. Okay. So let's go to our next slide. The lessons for Model 1. Okay. So in this model, we'll be looking at this model was on the leading and the managing framework, and the items that I want to. Our first discussion question will be on as a question on if we have worked with people who are distinctly better at management than leadership, or the opposite, or if we know of people who were strong in both areas. So it's essentially for us to be able to identify people that we've encountered that were good with the management skill set, and then those that were very good with the leadership skill set, or those that happen to be blend the two and then use them in a more focal manner. Yes, so this is what we would like to set the discussion on. So as an open forum, we'll be asking, we'll be randomly asking participants to share their views on the discussion questions, and then we can learn one or two things from the discussion. Okay. So I'd like to start with, let me call on. Let me call on Mr. Asante. Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Yes. Yes, please. If help us to start with this discussion on our first discussion question. Yes.
Okay, so I think I have worked with people who I see more it's on the managerial side than on the leadership side. Because most of the time, what I've realized most of the managers are good at is with the part of planning. They plan, they organize, they implement and evaluate. I think that those are the common ones I come up upon. Leadership is really not so strong in most of the leaders I've worked with. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your insights and the input. Yes, let me call on. I think we have Mr. Chum. Mr. Chum, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Mr. Chum. Mr. Chum, if you can unmute yourself. Yeah. Do we have Mr. Chum? Okay, I think he's still setting up. Okay, let me go to. Let me go to Caleb. Good afternoon, Mr. Caleb. Hello, Caleb. Good afternoon. Caleb, kindly unmute yourself so that we can hear you. Do you have Caleb? Okay. Let me try to see if I can go back to Mr. Chum. Mr. Chum, if you're on the line, kindly unmute yourself. Hello. Okay. Okay. So let me go to Kofi Akwan. Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes, please go ahead. Please share your view on it.
Please, can you hear me?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
I've also encountered managers who are partially strong in both leading and managing. There is one particular personality who I still have contact with, only that he lacks a bit of inspiration and his monitoring and evaluation skills. But apart from that, he's good
Okay.
at leading and both managing as well.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your input. Yes. Yeah. I'd like to call on Festus. Festus, if you could unmute yourself.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening. Yeah, in
Good
my
evening.
hello.
Yes, please go ahead, Festus.
Yeah, I've come across people who have demonstrated in both sides, managing and leading. But the dominant among them is managers. We come across more managers and people who show the great traits of leadership in my workplace. I think I've encountered more managers, people who are demonstrating aspects of management compared to leadership. Thank you.
Okay. All right. That's great. Okay. Let me call on Domsha. I don't know this name. Domsha. I am.
Mr. Hussein,
Yes.
my network is very bad here.
Oh, okay. So this is Comfort.
No, this is Sharafin.
Sharafin, okay. Yeah. Sharafin, please, how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you too?
Yeah, we're doing great. Okay. Yeah. I'd like to get your input on our first discussion question. If you worked with people that are management and leadership or the other way around, or people that you've encountered that were good, and then what were some of the things which you learned from them? Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
I think I've ever worked with someone who manages better than leading.
Okay.
And it was a private entity, and he was more interested in the profit that will come out from the business in the long run than looking at what the employees are going through to make that happen.
Okay.
So, and from this course, I've learned that before you can manage well, it means you have to lead too. If you really want your organization to get the best output in the long run, it means that you have to combine the two, lead and manage as well.
Great.
Okay. Do I need to add more?
Thank you so much for your first submission. I think this is very insightful. Like we have people that putting profit before people.
Yeah.
A balance between people and profit, and then which one how do we balance both? That those that have the view that the people first before profit, and then those that are also of the view of profit, before people. So I think that's the experience which you had with this particular person. Thank you so much for your insights.
You're welcome.
Yes. All right. Okay. Let me go to Mr. Chum for this question. Then we'll move to our next slide. Mr. Chum, if you can unmute yourself. Kindly unmute yourself, Mr. Chum.
Hello.
Yes.
Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, your mic is good now. Please go ahead.
Yes, you can hear me now.
Yes, please.
Yes, I've learned so many things from this course, and I also met with one person who was very good at leading. He was always thinking of the people that are working for him and putting himself in their shoes and making sure that they are always happy at the website when they come there. And so he was really a great leader, yes. But he was not all that good at the managing side, or at the leading side. Hello?
Okay. Yes. So he was more of the people.
Of the leading, yes, centered.
Yes. People-centered. Thank you so much. Yes, that's the word. People-centered. Yes. Thank you so much for your contribution on that. Let me call on Mohammed Sharif. Yes. Yes.
Good afternoon or evening. Sorry, I actually joined in late, and I would like to apologize for that. But with respect to the topic that we are discussing, I will say that I've encountered individuals who have served in both capacities as managers and as leaders. However, it appears to me that most of those I've encountered are better at leading than managing. And this is particularly common among clinicians who work in the hospital. I've worked with, for instance, doctors who have become maybe heads of departments and having to manage and then lead the team and those who have even risen to positions of becoming chief executives and the like. And it appears to me that one of the major reasons why they do not manage well is because they have basic lack of training as far as some of these principles are concerned. But with respect to leading the team, they tend to be very good at focusing and prioritizing issues and then leading the team to achieve goals that have been set. And a good number of them too are able to inspire their group members to be able to achieve whatever aim that is felt for ourselves. But when it comes to managing resources, managing the organization, they tend to be very terrible at it. However, there is one person that I know very well who was able to do well in both areas. And I think that it's because he had a fair understanding of these basic principles, which he was able to blend well and then make him able to work well as a leader and as a manager. In the end, I think he was quite successful at his role. So basically, that is what I would like to say. And one thing about us with the clinician is that we tend not to be able to handle resources very well, and then also organize more or less the whatever thing that we've been put in our hands to be able to manage. So until we're able to focus on some of these basic principles, we'll normally not do well when it comes to the managerial aspects. So that's what I would say. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your submission. Yeah. Yes, this is quite insightful. Yes. We'll be moving to the next slide. Okay. To look at our next, discussion topic. I think what we'll do is for those that would like to share their views, you can show by hand, and then we would invite you to make, your submissions. Okay, this is going to be our second discussion, topic for today. It's a quote by the author in this book, Management of the Upset, Paradoxes in Leadership. And in the book, he says, you don't need leaders, you want leadership. So that was his assertion that people don't want this, but they want leadership. Okay. And we'd like to find out from the house what he is trying to mean from his quote. All right. The floor is so open for us to discuss Richard Farson's assertion of the balance between, leaders and then leadership. Yes.
Hussein.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I think well, from my understanding, I think when we say you are given leadership, that's what
Yes.
we were told a leader inspires, a leader is motivated, aligned. So that is an active thing. But I think leader, once someone is heading something, we call the person a leader. That the act of actually having those qualities that makes you excel is what is really leadership. That's what I think. I don't know if somebody else has another opinion, but for me, I think leadership is quite an active thing where you go through all the 4 practices that we saw a leader do. We read in module 1 as what a leader does, not just being the figurehead. Yes, thank you.
Thank you so much. So from what I get from your submission, it's the balance between the position and then the execution of what comes with that position. So
yes,
yes. Thank you so much for your submission. This is great. Okay. So would like to. The floor is still open for discussion on this particular, topic. I'll be calling on our participants. Okay. let me call on a Galaxy. This name is showing Galaxy A20. Hello, Mr. Galaxy. Your phone is showing a Galaxy A20. I'd like to hear from you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. Kindly introduce yourself so that we can know you, and then you make your submission, please.
Okay, this is Dr. Fari.
Okay, Dr. Benedict.
This is Dr. Benedict Afari.
Great. Yes. Please go ahead.
Okay, so my perspective is that a leader, like anybody who is put in a position, is a leader, or by virtue of you being even a human being, everybody can be termed as a leader. The act, the process, or the exhibiting the sort of leadership skills and the outcomes that we are looking at. Because, I mean, in the world, we have so many leaders, but we can all recognize that.
Dr. Santo.
Okay. I think
not everybody.
Yeah, I think your line
is leading in a way that we will say that okay, they are achieving the outcomes that we are looking for.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes, I think your line is breaking a little bit.
I think it's the network. We having bad network today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but from what I'm getting from you is
yeah, okay, maybe.
Yes, please go ahead. Hello. Okay, I think kindly position yourself very well, and then I would invite you back. Okay, I see Moal Sheriff, your hand is up. So please go ahead whilst Benedict.
Yes, thank you, Hussein.
Yes.
When I look at this statement being made by Richard Farson, you don't want leaders, you want leadership. The understanding I'm actually getting from this is that, you see, the person is trying to distinguish between those who decide to want to become heads. Maybe you have a group, you want to become, say, the boss, you want to be the head. Okay, yes, yeah. But there's one thing being just the head, okay, and the other actually leading the people to achieve whatever goals that they have set for themselves. So by that, he's trying to say that we actually need people who can actually use some of these principles that we've learned. Okay, being able to scan well, be able to focus and strategize, prioritize strategic challenges, and then they're also able to, the one who is able to inspire his team members to be able to recognize their strengths and weaknesses, such that they'll be able to more or less come out with certain kind of innovations to help drive the whole team forward. So the one who is able to effectively apply all these principles to achieve organizational goals or targets is actually the true leader. That person's exhibiting leadership. It's not just the head. I will get my point. So that is what I understand by what this man, Richard Farson, is saying, that you don't want leaders, but you want leadership. Those who can really use these principles to achieve whatever we want, then they are actually exhibiting leadership.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your submission.
Thank you too.
Yeah. Benedict, if your line is sorted, we could, if you could come back and then conclude your point. Your line was breaking a little bit. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, I think it's clear now.
Yeah, so like I was saying, the leadership bit is more like the action, the function, and the activity. But the leader is more like somebody being at a particular location or setting.
Okay.
So if you're not those, then you're just a leader, but you've not been able to exhibit leadership. So if at the end of the day, like another contributor said, your organization, the targets are not met, the outcomes are not good, they are not seeing any improvements in terms of the people you are working with. There's no improvement in the organization, no improvement in their welfare, and there's so much despondency in the system, then you are not exhibiting leadership. But of course, you are there, all right, as a leader. But once all the, then we can say that you have what I think.
Great. Thank you so much for your submission. We're getting some insights from these views. Okay, let me call on Kingsford. Kingsford, your hand is up. If you could unmute yourself and then go ahead. Yes, Kingsford.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Hussein, and to everyone.
Yes, good afternoon. Please go ahead.
Yeah, so I personally not read the book, but then I think my understanding on this statement is that basically when we say a leader, basically we are looking at the position bit, and the leadership is actually about the process. And then what we are interested most is the process, not just we having just the leader being in position, but then the process that will lead to the achievement of result. So with the leadership, we are looking at how the one in charge or who is at the position, how the person is able to influence others towards the goal. So the leader, what you do is let them know the vision, and then you help to bring them on board so that they buy into the vision for the achievement of the goal. So here, the leadership will then bring the one who is leading and then the people together so that they all work together to achieve the goal. It wouldn't be like the leader is sitting somewhere and then the other people are also somewhere and then they are separate. Rather, he will just play the word, that position of being the leader, then try to work to influence the people to help achieve results in the organization. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your submission. You're getting a lot of insights from here. So from what I'm getting from what your submission is, there's a difference between the title or the position and then the process that leads to the getting the deliverables, done. Yeah, thank you so much. Reverend, please go ahead. If you could unmute yourself. Yes.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, I think they've said it all, but I just want to state that leadership has to do with a process. It is not a one-time something, but it has to do with an influence. Whereas leader is a title or a position that anybody can be leader, but not all can be in the position of leadership.
Okay, everybody has a potential of being a leader,
Yeah.
but not all has. I want to.
The skills to be in leadership position.
Okay, so from your say, it means that there's a potential, and then there is that development of skills to be able to function better.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that submission. Okay, we're going to call on one last person to make a submission on this discussion. Then we'll move to our next slide. Okay, let me call on Kingsley Boachi. Yeah. Mr. Kingsley, if you could unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
When it comes to leadership, just like Reverend said, in every institution or wherever you find yourself, you can be a leader. You can lead people and direct them as to what's supposed to be done. But it takes a real leader to be in a position of a leadership.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my take.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think we are getting a lot of insights from this discussion. Okay. Would like to move to our next slide. Okay. To look at with the skill sets which we've learned so far, and then the principles, how well do the concepts and then the practices in these units, which the model 1, apply to our cultural, setting here. So on this slide, we're trying to see how best we can juxtapose between the skills and then the knowledge which we have learned, and how to now apply it to our cultural setting. Are there some cultural barriers that makes some of these practices and then knowledge create some sort of like a barrier in applying some of these new knowledge and then skill sets in our jurisdiction? Yes, that's what we want to discuss now. How our cultural setting influences or affects how to bring into practice new skill sets which we are learning. Yes. Okay. Okay. So on that, I'd like let's start with this discussion. Call on Mr. Simon. Mr. Simon, unmute yourself. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We'd like to have your view on how our cultural setting have, in one way or the other, how does it have, come into play when we're trying to put some of these practices into applications to get results? Are there some cultural barriers that we encounter, and how do we resolve those cultural issues? Yes. Please go ahead, Mr. Simon. Hello, Mr. Simon. Hello, Mr. Simon. I think your line is not so clear. Let me, whilst Mr. Simon tries to rectify. Yeah, Bernice, if you could unmute. Hello, Bernice. Okay. I think Kingsford, is your hand up? Kingsford.
Sorry, I forgot to lower it. Sorry.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Reverend. Yes, can you and then come on the floor? Yes.
Yes. In our cultural setting, change is very difficult.
Okay.
And some have been in certain mentality for a very long time. And they find it difficult to accept people who emerge in order to bring new things on board. So in order to apply this, you have to first of all try to get their mindset on what ought to be, and then you can apply the various principles to cause the change, and then get the people to follow you.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe it is a little bit difficult, but you can still do something about it by getting some key people to understand your point of view, and then let them follow you. Then they will also influence the others to follow the change.
Thank you so much for this submission. Yeah, the cultural, barriers. So that you go for a training, you learn something, you come back, and then the application, there seems to be a mountain to climb in order to bring the up, like sort of like apply the new knowledge in our setting, and what's actually accounts for that sort of like inertia in trying to bring people the new knowledge into play. I think Reverend shed much light on that, trying to bring the people on board to let them buy into that change idea, and then they can be able to run along with the vision. Okay, let me call on Festus. Hello, Mr. Festus.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah, you're unmuted now. Yes. I'd like to have your insights on this.
Thank you.
Setting. Yes. Please go ahead.
Our cultural setting, in my opinion, as Reverend says, sometimes hinder the certain implementation of change. Our culture is actually, some cultural settings are essentially about contribution and innovation. I usually see or more appreciated when it's coming from people at the top. So, like from our cultures, and let's say those at the lower parts, or middle parts, let's say they are even comparing or looking at it from the perspective of age. And the younger ones are bringing up less innovations. Usually, some the implementation is quite a little difficult because we attribute wisdom, intelligence, and those things to those elders. The same way, like if we relate it to our work settings, when some junior officers or people in that category bring up innovations or want to lead a group, sometimes because of the cultural issues and mentality of the people, sometimes the implementation becomes very difficult. I think there's a lot at the workplaces.
Great. So this is a bio I have to look at. Yes. Thank you so much for your submission. Yes. Can we have Benis? Benis, if you could unmute yourself.
Hello?
Yes, Benis. Please go ahead.
Yeah, Mr. Hussein, I just joined the group. I really forgot about this meeting, so you just continue with the discussion. I'm doing the listening, okay? I'm saying hi
All right.
to everyone. So
Okay.
I'm just doing the listening. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Marsha, if your hand is up, yes, please make your submission.
Yes, thank you, Brother Hussein. You see, I recognize that we live in a multicultural environment where we have diverse cultural practices. Okay, so what pertains in one jurisdiction might be different from another. So I don't see any specific barrier, as it were. However, what I think may be quite of a challenge within our setting is that we live in a society where a lot of the time the members of a particular team expect the leader to do it all. So even if we have a leader who is trying to apply as much principle as possible to inspire the group to move forward to achieve set targets, you'll find out that the members are not people who are able to more or less apply themselves. So it makes it very difficult for the leader really to drive them to more or less get to the set goal that they are looking for. I have to get to my point. Yeah, so that is what I think permeates and is quite deep within our cultural environment. So it's something that I see more as a challenge and may make it very difficult for people to really inspire and move any particular team to achieve whatever targets that they want to achieve. So basically, that is what I have to say on this point.
Thank you so much for your insight.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Great. It's great insights we're getting from this discussion. Cynthia. Cynthia, if you could unmute yourself and then let's hear your thoughts on this topic. Hello, Cynthia. Hello, Cynthia.
Hello, Hussein.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes. We are talking about culture and how to apply, new knowledge in our cultural setting. Yes. Let's hear your thoughts on
that. I think that from my little experience, most of the time, with regards to our work areas, once you rise through the ranks, you automatically find yourself in a leadership position. But then,
okay,
please, we are not really prepared formally, as in taking through some kind of training to equip us with some of these basic leadership and then management skills, just as we are doing now. And so most of the time we are ill prepared when we take up those positions. And so we tend to do well to inspire our people. But then when it comes to the managerial aspects, most of the time we don't really do well. So I think with regards to our working settings, it's important that we are giving some kind of training to equip us.
Great.
As we would find ourselves in a leadership position automatically as we rise through the ranks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia, for your submission. Yes, this is quite insightful. We're getting quite a number of insights from this discussion. I'd like to call on Mansoura. Hello, Mansoura. Hello, Mansoura. If you could unmute yourself. Hello, Mansoura. Okay, think Kingsley. Kingsley, can you unmute and then go ahead? Yes.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
My contribution will be looking at our society. I think somebody made mention of it, that we come from diverse background and how our culture really is not uniform. So implementing leadership is going to be hard. And when you come to our respective Ghanaian society, to be able to bring leadership or to make a change in how things go on, you have to be in a position of being someone who rules, or someone who is in position of a chief or a king, let me say that. But most importantly, better than that, you have to be somebody who is an influential person for you to be able to bring leadership, to bring change generally. I believe that is what is done.
Thank you so much for your submission. I'd like to move on to our next model. We'll be taking lessons from model 2, which is on leadership and then building strong things. Yes. Okay. So our discussion area for this model, the first one is in the second model, which is module 2, we're supposed to do an analysis of a team we have been in, we have worked with, and then to analyze that team from different, perspective. Some of the areas that we're supposed to assess the team were on, was the team having a purpose, like to be able to describe the team, that's its purpose, composition, and then meeting schedules and the developmental phase. And also to be able to identify strengths and then weaknesses or threats to the team's functioning. And then also part of the assessment was to propose a strategy for strengthening the team. And then lastly, to identify the potential benefit of the team. Yes, so that was it was an optional activity on analyzing your team. Mm-hmm. And I believe each one of us has taken time to go through that particular activity. And would like to find out from the house what we learned from that exercise, and then if we're able to receive some feedback from the analysis which we did. And then also what we'll do differently in the future in terms of working with or building strong teams in our various places of work, and so on and so forth. Yes. So this was an activity on a team, appraising every team in order to deliver on a project. There have to be people, different group of people coming together with a similar purpose to be able to achieve with the knowledge that we get from this analysis, what we'll do differently going forward in working with teams. Yes. So we'd like members of the House to share their inputs on the findings of that assessment. Yes. All right. So I'm going to call on Delasi. Yes. Delasi, if you could unmute your microphone. Yes. Hello, Delasi.
Hello, boss.
Yes. I'd like to get your thoughts on the workings with a team, like the teams that you've encountered both currently and then previously. What are some of the strengths of the team, the weaknesses, and then the opportunities and the trend, and then the lessons that we've learned from working with the various individuals? What we'll do differently if we find ourselves in our current team or in a different team? Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. I would humbly request that I joined the meeting not long ago, so I'm now tracing the track of events or proceedings that have taken place previously before I joined. So I would plead to hold on for now, drive myself into the presentation, and come back to answer some of these questions, sir.
All right. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Let me call Mr. Aqua, Kofi Aqua.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, please go ahead.
Please, from the scenarios that I have encountered, when you look at the composition of a team, you will see that initially the team strength on deliveries are very high and strong. But going forward, when you see the mistrust and lack of accountability setting in, you see that the commitment levels of the team drops, whereby that dragging back the team or there's some kind of laxity in work schedules and so on and so forth. For instance, when you take a critical account of how some of us report to our various organizations, you look at the analysis and see that there are some individuals who are always on time, some also at certain times report earlier, and because of one or two reasons, they may also report late at certain times. When you factor in all this with productivity, you will see that it affects the team's progress. So with this, I was looking at whereby strengthening the team, you will have a proper flow of information. That's information is well disseminated from management level to the less mean person in the organization, if I am permitted to use this word. When machines get down in this manner, you see that everybody is well prepared and abreast with whatever happenings on projects, on activities and happenings within the organization. People are willing to share informations as to how to strategies and decisions that may help the growth of the team and the organization going forward.
Okay.
I think this is the few I could share for now. I may come in later. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Akwa, for your submissions. Yeah, thank you so much. So you mentioned about trust and accountability, and these are things which, when they are affected, it affects the morale of the team, and it becomes sort of like a weakness in the team. Okay, all right. I would like to call on Dennis Asibin. Hello, Dennis. Hello, Dennis.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're unmuted now.
I just joined. I don't know. I had a challenge with my network, so I couldn't start from the beginning. I don't know why.
Okay.
We can,
all right.
Either briefly or skip me here, then I'll contribute later on.
Okay, that's well understood. Okay, let me call on Kingsley Boache.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Kingsley, please.
Hello.
Your hand is up. Yes.
Generally, when it comes to team building with a strong team, you realize that in a team, what seems to be the core dysfunction aspect generally is in our culture as Ghanaian people, right? Is the how do I say the fear of conflict.
Okay.
You realize that sometimes in a meeting, you realize that you ask what is the problem, or you're trying to find out what some of the causes or what are some of the issues on the ground that probably you might want to solve. And you realize that people may keep quiet just because they don't want to be in conflict with anybody. Someone will say, you know, it is a problem in our culture. So you realize that because of that, no, there is lack of commitment, and eventually it ends up with the absence of trust. Because if I say it and I'll have a problem later on, then I'm not going to say it, and it will bring the lack of commitment, and is going to undermine the whole reason why they set up the team. I think that's my contribution, my feedback.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kingsley. Yeah, this is quite insightful. Yes. Yeah, Ms. Asante, your hand is up. Please go ahead.
Yes, just like Kingsley said, with people not wanting to, what I've also realized, if you are working with a team that is a multidisciplinary team, like you have different levels, either in terms of skills or background, like educational background. Sometimes you have some people amongst the team that behave as if they know it all, they have all the ideas, and so they tend to look down upon the other people that are on the team. What that normally brings about, the other people just decide to watch on you. If you think you know what is best, you know that attitude, you do it and let's see. So everybody just sits back and watch you. And most of them, what I've realized is that most of the teams, when you go and then you become part of such a team, that a lot of them have developed this attitude, laid back attitude because of one reason or the other, and you are part of it. And whether fortunately or unfortunately, you are made a leader, it becomes very challenging bringing all of them back on board, because there's a lot of mistrust. There's no sense of accountability, and so everybody is just doing their own thing. And if you are made a leader of such a group, or you become part of them, and you, for instance, want to do your best, you have some of them coming to tell you, you want to pretend as if you are the only person who wants to make the thing work. Meanwhile, you came to meet us all behaving some way. So there's this also attitude where people tend to either, I don't know, say, get you to, if they think you are too loud or they think you are making them look bad, they want to get you to also be laid back like them. So then at the end of the day, this thing developed, just like Kofi said, everybody just sits back and then there's no commitment and the group falls apart. That's what I've also learned in some of the groups I've been part of.
Thank you so much for this insight. Yes. So trust is very key. Accountability from each group member is crucial in creating harmony in the team, so that the team can be able to achieve purpose. I think this is very, very important point we've shared here. Okay, yeah, Mr. Festus, yes, your hand is up. Please go ahead. Yes, can you unmute yourself and then go ahead?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yes.
As said by the earlier speakers, I think the issue of trust comes in a lot, and it also stems or comes about when people have different agendas other than the ultimate group objective. You know, I've been in a group where other members felt some others had an ulterior motive from the collective goal.
Okay.
Therefore, they felt that people were using them to achieve their personal objectives other than the collective goal of the group. You know, when such issues set in, people think they are being used for some people's ulterior motive other than what you are trying to achieve. And once this sets in, mistrust builds up and everything falls apart.
Yeah. First, I think your line is breaking a little bit. So your delivery, I like your delivery. Line is breaking a little bit. If you could sort of like.
Yeah, what I said was, I don't know if you can hear me now.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's getting.
What I said is, the issue of trust comes in when people think they are being used by others to achieve their ulterior motives other than the collective group objective. And I'll cite an example of being in a group where people felt being used because they felt some group members had a different motive from the collective one, for which reason they were using actions of members within the group to achieve their ulterior motive other than what collectively the group was trying to achieve. You know, when such actions build up and people detect these things happening, they think they are being used up, and the issue of trust builds up and everything falls apart.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much for your submission. So it's quite insightful. Yes. Let me call on Richard. Richard Cote. Hello, Richard Cote.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Richard Cote.
Hello.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Hello, good evening. Yeah,
Make
hello,
yourself.
good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Yes. Yeah. Hello.
Yes. Hello, Richard. Yeah, we can hear you.
I also entered the discussion not long, so I'm also thinking to, so I'm sure after the edit I'll contribute.
All right.
Hello.
Yes. Okay. Yes, your reasons are accepted. Yes. Okay.
My thoughts. No, contribute.
All right. Let me call on Mr. Chum. Hello, Mr. Chum.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes, please, can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Yeah.
hear you. To have your
Yeah.
thoughts on the team, and then building the team, and then how to bring everyone on board.
Yeah, my understanding here is we may have a team that is doing very well initially with a very good leader, I mean, having all the leadership qualities. But if the top management, sometimes the top management also may refuse to, like getting the feedback from the leader who is leading the team. If the leader is not getting the feedback from the top management, sometimes it becomes very difficult. You go to the down people, you explain things to them, they give you their grievance and other things. You send it to the top management, and they also don't come out with any meaningful thing, or they don't even, sometimes they don't even respond. So it makes it very difficult for you, the middle leader, to just organize the people, let them know what is happening. So it's like your hand become tight, and it makes it very difficult. Another thing also is that sometimes the members within the team may feel like the top management is not treating them well unfairly, because they may see that some people are getting certain things and forgetting about them, or they being neglected. So when it happens like that, the commitment definitely goes down. And so you being the leader, you may have all the qualities, but it will be very difficult for you to convince the people once the commitment begins to go down, getting them back on board. Thank you.
Great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mr. Chum. So it means the management commitment could be a threat to the constructive functioning of the team.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay. Yeah. Let's have your thoughts on this topic. Yes. Please go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much, and a very good evening to all the leaders and managers in the house. My point of expression will come from building a team from volunteering point of view, or from volunteering works angle.
Great.
In building, one thing I have personally observed or experienced more often, because I've had a lot of voluntary engagement, leading teams, being a member of such teams. One thing I've noticed is that most people, or in our area or our locality or environment, particularly I'm talking about the Ghanaian terrain, forming volunteering teams comes with quite a number of hurdles. People begin to ask, what would be my reward? People ask, what would be the latter benefit? And in trying to assemble various minds, various skills from individuals to bring to the board in order to drive the agenda of that volunteering group or that organization, it brings about quite a number of challenges. For instance, at the primary stages, along the line, you might have people with similar interests, similar passion, similar understanding of the agenda of the team, and would like to come together and then help drive the organization or drive the team. But along the line, then things begin to dwindle, showing up for meetings, commitment, dedication, time.
Okay.
People begin to draw back. And so one thing personally I've observed is that to build vibrant, solid, positive teams, to be able to work towards a certain target, a certain mission or vision, or a certain or particular objectives, as though it could be voluntary, or better still, being in a bigger organization, there are certain tools. Personally, I think that we should also use as leaders or managers. We should employ such tools in order to have the team moving as time goes on. Of course, clarity of ideas, feedback mechanisms, the release of information should always be upheld in the highest esteem. But besides that, in building solid teams, we should also look at the points of recognition, appreciation, and if possibly forms of incentives, maybe in the latter round. Some of these things, as a leader, we should keep some of these things in mind as mechanisms and systems that we can use to build formidable teams in order to achieve our organizational goals, objectives, or targets. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Dalasi. I think you made mention of some very key points. One of them is when members ask the question, what's the need for me? Then means that we have a threat or an internal in the team. And then also the clarity of the purpose of the team is so important. That would fall under the strength. If everyone in the team knows the objective that is to be achieved, everyone is able to bring their focus on getting that objective accomplished. And then periodic feedback and then rewards. Yeah, so this is a very insightful contribution. Yes, I'd like to call on Kingsley. Mr. Kingsley, if you could unmute yourself, yes.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead.
Please, I want to ask a question with regards to what Mr. Chumberma said.
Okay,
No,
yes.
most of the time, the problem might not be from the group as you stated, but it may be as a result of a gap in feedback with high-level leadership or high-level management. So my question is, how will you go about it as probably a middle management leader who is leading a team to achieve a goal? But the problem might be coming from the higher leadership. How will you go about it? Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let me show this question to Mr. Chum. Yes. Mr. Chum, if you could unmute yourself and address this particular issue.
Hello?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
In fact, this has been my problem, one of my problems in leading my people. So I was thinking of asking the question. So somebody has asked. So
ask your question. Okay. Yes, this is very great. Okay.
Yes.
We'd like to show this question to the members of the House, so we can brainstorm on and bring in ideas together to help each one of us in creating a positive impact in our organization. So any person with a contribution that can help to drive, bring solutions to how do we balance between, top management and then the middle management. Okay, so I think Reverend, let me call on Reverend in your response to this question, then I'll come back to Kofi and then the Sheriff. Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much. At times it is difficult. However, you can just lobby somehow. You contact top management members, try to explain your view to them. Let them understand and appreciate whatever is happening. And as you move from one person to the at least you will get a number of them that share your view. So that when they get to the management, when will be there, at least they can bring suggestions on board to discuss. So at times, yeah, you can wait through the individual members of the management. And at least if you get one or two influential persons who understand or share your view, then they can address it from that angle. This is what I've got to share. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So Reverend, from what I'm getting from you, you deal with them individually. You lobby, like target each individual management member and then sell idea to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let them appreciate whatever is happening.
Okay.
Some of them may just throw you off, but don't worry about that. Go to those who will accept you, those who will receive you, those who will give you the audience. And if you get 2 or 3 among them sharing your view, at least they will rate it at the top management level, and then yeah, they can put your challenges across for it to be addressed. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Reverend. Yeah, Mr. Kingsley, I hope you are happy with the response.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much too for the question. Let me call on Mohammed Sharif for your contribution.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Hussein. Actually, the reason why I raised my hand up was to the initial discussion, but to comment slightly on what our brother asked, I would say that yes. I think it will be quite difficult because it happens almost at every level, and I also face it at where I work. But one of the things that you can do in addition to lobbying may be that you also have to try and then do something in your own small way by more or less like motivating your team, okay? And then spelling out clearly your challenges and some of the achievements you have chalked in managing or leading your team and presenting it to the top management level. Maybe perhaps it will cause them to change strategy a bit and then attend to your plight. But I recognize that it could be very difficult when it comes to dealing with top management level, but you have to just try somehow. So basically that is it. And going back to the very first one that we're talking about,
yes.
Yeah, what we learned from the exercise. I have to confess, I didn't really go do the exercise personally, but following the discussion that have been going on and trying to use my word as a unit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So those who don't know my background, I'm a medical doctor. So more like I have a ward. Okay. So I lead the unit more or less. Yeah. So one of the major weaknesses I have found in such an environment is that it looks like when there is lack of reward and motivation to the members of the staff, it makes them, it brings their morale down and they are unable to commit themselves so well to their work. And the other thing has to do with when you also have lack of capacity building. That is to say that when the team or organization hasn't put in clear-cut measures in place to actually train and impart knowledge, a lot of the time you have people who have been working for quite a while, and you realize that they haven't been introduced to new skill sets and knowledge, and they are not able to keep up with changing trends or changing, knowledge. So they tend to continue to do the old things, and that doesn't really contribute effectively to good outcomes. The other thing that I saw as a form of weakness was lack of punitive measures. I mean, which are strictly enforced. I'm not talking about corporal punishment per se, but there should be some form of punishment, because if there isn't, then the members of the team, they just do whatever they want. They don't commit themselves to the work. They can even slow down others who are trying to do a lot of impact more effort. And they might even leave the work for only a few to do, and that can be quite daunting on the rest of the team members. So if we're able to properly institute punitive measures, okay, in a way that is positive, it will go a long way to more or less enhancing the team function. The strength I noticed is that when you have people who have different skills coming together, it more or less impacts greatly to the outcome. So because when you have people who can, maybe you have some who can do a higher level task as opposed to one that does a lower level task. So you more or less blend people with different abilities and capabilities together. You're able to get very good outcomes. And so what I would do differently is that if I'm given the opportunity, I'll look at some of these things that I've talked about and see how we effectively introduce them in a team to more or less bring the team to work and then achieve the said target. One major thing that I've noticed, which is quite common, since all of us are health workers, one thing I'm sure most of us have noticed is how we choose our leaders. And we usually use the principle of the one who has been older in the department or at work becomes the leader. Like the older becomes the automatic leader. I think that concept is wrong. We have to focus on people's capabilities and what they can bring to the table, instead of saying that I have been the one who has worked there for 10 years. So since I have been longer in the service than you, then I am automatically the head, which is particularly wrong. And I think if I'm given the chance, it is something that I will change on the ground so that we can work effectively to improve the outcomes, and particularly to the patients that we serve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohammed Sharif, for that wonderful contribution. Yes. Thank you. We're learning so much from this discussion. I'd like to quickly go to Dennis before I come to Richard and then Kofi. Yes. Yes, Dennis, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hussein. I would like to make a little contribution to what Mr. Chin talked about and what Dr. Kinsley also asked. I think in as much as we work as a team in our various departments or facilities, we still have the organogram, and everyone has a role to play to make the vision of the institution being accomplished. And therefore, as we have the leaders, and we, in one way or the other, at the lower level, function as both managers and at the same time leaders. But our core duty mostly is being managers than being leaders. So the higher authorities are mostly the managers, the leaders, and they give those clear leadership rules, and then we have to implement those kind of policies that they have. And for that matter, we are more being proactive in doing our activities, in that we focus much on a circle of influence than to basically rely on the circle of concern, where the politics and all those kind of things that are a little more beyond our control are. And therefore, we need to influence our co-workers and our staff to motivate them and to encourage them to do what is right, to set examples for them and also be role models for them. And that in that case, you're able to achieve what we need to achieve at that level. And definitely management will be able to see what we are doing. because if you are doing it right, definitely they will see your output, and then they will see the input, the button and the output, and they will not be able to recognize. So you do the little things that you need to do at your own level to make sure you shine. That is what I believe in. In as much as there may be some hitches or some non balances, or sometimes non-equity among us in terms of some financial gains or other things, or kindness or something, but we still need to focus more of our energy on the circle of influence than the circle of concern as managers. And a little to also add to the expansions of a team. I'll talk a little about the lack of conflict, the fear of conflict. So when there is less trust amongst ourselves, we tend not to believe, we tend not to have faith or kind of understand each other. And therefore, when there's a meeting, everyone fears to talk. So we create that kind of conflict. And if victimization, if you try to say something, your opinion, your clear mind, conscience, will not become a victim to either your co-worker or to a higher authority. And therefore, it rather suppresses your function. It suppresses your capability to bring out the best in you. So that critically, as being in my institution, I've seen some hitches around this kind of area where you kind of been not given the free room to operate. They'll give you a role to operate, and then with one hand, and then they'll be holding the other role with another hand. So it's like you cannot have a clear cut to know, am I supposed to do A, or I'm supposed to do A minus? And so it's very, very not dicey. But in as much as we have all this kind of things, we try to play with them and then make sure we get a team work to be able to boost the mission of the institution. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Dennis, for that insightful contribution. You mentioned about focusing on habit one, which is being proactive, and by so doing, we working more within our circle of influence. By that, the circle of influence expands, and then it would eclipse the concerns, and by so doing, we'll be able to achieve the results that we desire in the team. Great contribution. Yes. Richard, your hand is up. Please kindly unmute yourself. Then I'll come to Kofi.
Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, I want to make some brief suggestion on contribution on how to build a strong team. Actually, all this while we are talking about, we are all being like the manager should do this, they have to do this. It's very good, but sometimes to my little suggestion that I'm saying is, like, we the leaders, like we the followers, what are we also doing to help our managers? Sometimes we also have to, it's not always we getting from them, but also what are we also doing to assist them? At least we are all human. Sometimes you can give a little bit positive feedback to the manager. Oh, we really like your leadership style. Something like that can also boost the person. We should not always be like, because they are the managers, they have to do everything for us. We also have to find one or two other ways that we can also give them motivation to continue doing it. You know, in leadership, sometimes if you're doing something and you feel like, fine, every day is about criticisms and everything, the person will feel like he will be a little bit relaxed because it seems like what he's doing is not being appreciated. But at least if we, the followers, or we in the group team are also able to motivate the leader so that he knows that what he's doing is really, really good, so that he can also continue with he can give his maximum input and you get the best from the team. That's a little bit contribution that I want to make. And concerning how to bridge the gap between top management and the middle, I think it all boils down to effective communication. You know, it's them. Hello?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's the main reason for like which will bring a gap between top management and middle. So I think that if the communication is very effective, in no matter where the issue will be, at least everybody will get a clear and concise information about what the person wants to. But if there is a gap in the communication, it always brings a lot of issues, and it will not bring the maximum best from the team. For the group members, for the team to get a better or maximum output. So that is some suggestion or contribution that I want to make based on.
Great. Thank you so much, Richard, for that contribution. Yes. So it's all about, not only the leaders, but also the subordinate, also, motivating. Everybody needs somebody. So most of the time, it's more like a one-way traffic where the leader always have to be the one giving. But from according to Richard's perspective, it should be both ways. And then that way, that harmony is created. And then we have a balance. Let me quickly go to Kofi, then I'll come to Richard Cote. Yeah, Kofi, if you are on the line.
Okay,
yes,
I wanted to add these few points. In the team building strength, from the earlier question that was asked, with the positioning as to how to resolve them, lobbying was mentioned, and then motivation. I wanted to add up this by saying the team's strength is always build on resource. So the leader at that level where you find yourself, management is a challenge to deal with the top management level. So I would suggest you focus on your results. You should be result oriented, whereby you can build a healthy working environment with the you invite all views and allow each and every person to bring their strengths and ideas in the best interest of. I think this is what I wanted to add to the contributions earlier.
Thank you so much, Kofi, for that contribution. Okay, let's go to Richard. Yes, Richard, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, I'm very cool going home too. Just a short suggestion and contribution that every team needs to have one very component, that's the basis, that's of trust. Without trust, without trust, in fact, nothing can hold. Trust is like a glue factor that helps all other things to stand. So many people can have varied views, and communication can go on very, very well. But trust is one that sustains any other decision or any other plan. So, as one of the key components of the team to be very, very, very strong and to accomplish its mission, we can't do away without trust. So I really learned a lot in terms of healthy conflict, in terms of commitment to work. But one thing that I learned very well is about trust. So trust is very important. That's very important. And then it's also going to help me in terms of the role I play as a leader in terms of leading advocacy in adult health or in child health with the foundation. Yes. So I really learned a lot. Yes. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay. Yeah. Let me call Benedict. Yes. Benedict, if you could unmute yourself and then make your submissions, then we'll go to the final slide. Yes, Benedict. Okay, I think we have a little challenge with Benedict, but we'll come back to him. These are final slides. We learned about the emotional bank account. Yes. So on this discussion, we're looking at how is the goal of building strong teams enhanced by an awareness of the emotional bank account. Yes. I think some of the issues have been, dealt with. Richard mentioned about trust, accountability. These are all emotional deposits, which when it is deposited, it boosts the morale of the team. Richard Opoku also mentioned about also motivating the leaders, like inspiring them, giving them constructive feedback. That so all these are essential trust elements which we can deposit in the emotional bank account, and that could create that harmony in the team and then help the team to achieve its purpose. Would like to find other ways by which we can enhance team functioning by the emotional bank, by being aware of the emotional bank account. Yes. So floor is open. I'd like to call. We're going to invite just about 2 contributions on the first question, then we'll go to the second and the third, and then we should be able to close the curtain for today's site meeting. Let me call on Comfort. Okay. They say not to have Comfort. Let me call on Mansura. Comfort, are you there? Hello, Comfort.
Hello, Mr. Hussein.
Yes. Yes.
Hello.
Bank account. Yes.
Hello, Mr. Hussein.
Yes. Please
Good
go ahead.
evening.
Yeah. Good evening. Yes. Please go ahead.
For the emotional bank account, I think you have to be proactive and becoming a proactive. It leaves a lot of other people the way they are, because a time may come that somebody will just voice out.
Yeah, hello, Comfort. It seems like your line is breaking. Come on, it seems like your line is breaking. Okay. So kindly
to you to say this, realize. Hello.
Yes. Yeah, I think it's working now. Yes, please go ahead.
What I'm saying is, you have to be proactive.
Okay.
And becoming a proactive, you replace. Hello.
Yes, please go ahead. We're here now.
Hey. You can hear me now.
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes,
What I'm saying is,
we can
you
hear
have
you.
to control your own things. So when you are in a team, when you are in it.
Comfort, your line is breaking. If you could read.
And you are able to control certain feelings, there is no say you will realize. Hello?
Yes.
Hello, Mr. Hussein?
Yes.
That person will realize his or her mistake and then come back to confront you. And that makes the team very strong.
Comfort, your line is out. Yes. Let me invite you.
That's so that my network. I'm having a problem with my.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's keep fluctuating.
My network is not good at all.
Okay. Yeah. Invite you back. Just reposition yourself a little bit. Okay. Let me hear from Patience. Yes. Yes.
Yes, please. Are we still on question 1? Do you want me to talk about question 1 or 2?
Yes. Quickly deal with question 1. Yes.
Okay. So talking about the emotional bank account, I think that it's very useful in building strong teams because the team is made up of different people. And we have different ways of taking things. Okay, someone may do something wrong and you can yell at the person and the person may not feel too bad about it. I mean, yelling at a person or reacting to someone's decision, it's more like you are withdrawing from the person. Okay, you may do it same to someone else and it wouldn't really matter to the person. So then we have to know the kind of people that we are dealing with. In as much as we are different people and we take things differently, it is best that we deposit rather than withdraw from our team members, because I think that there are some people that they are made up of good stuff. I mean, they have good ideas, but once they make a point and their point is rubbished or their points are taken for granted, sometimes they curl up and they don't want to make contributions again. They want to be in their own corner because maybe anytime they say something, they are rather rubbish. But even if what they are saying doesn't make sense or is not really going to help the decision you are taking, I think there is a more constructive way of dealing with it rather than yelling at people or making them feel bad. In other words, withdrawing from them. So I think we are different people, but in as much as we respond to things differently, we have to always make it a point to make people feel welcome in the group. Let's make sure that we make them feel that what they are saying, they are really needed for the team or for the group to thrive. Else, sometimes when we yell at them, it makes them feel like without them we can do. Sometimes without someone, the group can still thrive. But then that is when we come together because we are achieving a common goal. We are working at achieving a common goal. So all ideas, all hands on deck. We need each other's ideas, whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense. So I think it's very necessary that we look at that. Always try to deposit in our team members rather than withdrawing from them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patience. Okay, let me go to Roger. Yes, Rogers, kindly unmute and then make your submission. If you can deal with question number 2, much appreciated.
Yeah, hello, Hussein.
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
At the beginning, yes, at the beginning of the discussion, I think I made a mention that my schedule is too tight, so I've not been able to go through the module 2 yet. I just started it and the discussion started. So I think from here I will go and read it and then I'll have a fair idea about it. But I just wanted to say something small about the first question.
Yes, please.
Yes. So like talking about the emotional banking or the emotional bank account is just a way of building good relationship with people or a group of people that you are leading or managing. So in that light, if you have the habit of building good relationships, it goes a long way to enhance your group management skill. Like you can have a group that you are discussing something, and in an adult class or in a group, there is no wrong answers. So somebody says something, though it might not be in the interest of what you are talking about, but if you are able to uh, kind of pat them on the shoulders, somebody may people may even have a confrontation there, and with your good leadership skills, if you're able to pat them on the shoulders and let them know that, oh, they are not wrong, right? So if you are fan of doing this, you are depositing enough in your emotional bank account that it will go a long way to motivate the group members. Like when you call on somebody one day to do something for them, they know you are always there for them. So this is a way of enhancing your group, making sure that your group functions very well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Rogers. Okay. Let me quickly invite Kingsford. Your hand was up, and then I'll come to Richard. Yes. Yeah. Sir Kingsford, if you could kindly unmute.
Yeah. I think much has already been said, but I realize that emotional banking is actually key for building strong teams. Let's take, for instance, a factor such as apologizing when you are wrong in a team, and then offering sincere compliments or giving constructive feedback. You realize that when you are in a team and these things are being done, they are so key to building strong trust in the relationship. They each realize that we come to the realization that we are working as a team, and it makes each one feel so good in the team. And each one performs at their best capacity, and then together we're able to achieve results in the team. So emotional banking is key to strong team building. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kingsford. Richard, please go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So for the first one, the emotional bank account, yes, I believe that it also boils down. It's like it's the seat of so many thoughts, but more of understanding. According to I think the third principle, seeking to understand and be understood. Yes, the fact that when you have understanding, no matter what decisions your team take, whether it's negative, especially whether it's negative, you are able to find a way of bringing to four ideas, that is, in terms of positive ideas or better ideas, to be able to move the team forward. So, the emotional bank account is very important. Most importantly, positive thoughts. Yes. So, I think the emotional bank account is very important, and it will really help. And also, it's despite the diversity of your team members, you hear that with varied thoughts, when you understand each other and you contribute thoughts that are not even thoughts, that are even drifting away from the goal or the main goal of the team, as understanding comes in, you all, like the team, including the leader, comes together and they come back to the park. And then why is it that learning to live with the team you are given? Yes, it's very important because sometimes at the initial stage, you might not understand the team's goals and the vision, but hear that as time goes on, you begin to read more, you begin to get educated more from people who have lived there already. You might be new in the team, or you might have joined the team as and before after the team was established. So I think this is more of coming to the basis of that understanding. So I think understanding, if in the Bible the Christians say that the Bible says that by understanding all everything's established. So understanding is very important. So that's my contribution to the topic, emotional banking.
Thank you so much, Richard, for your contribution, both in the emotional bank account and also learning to live with the team. Yes. I'd like to move to Simon very quickly, and then come to Mr. Asante. Yeah, Mr. Simon, if you could kindly unmute.
Hello,
Yes.
Mr. Hussein.
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah, I want to say something about the second question. Let's live with your team. I believe that your team, the attitude and behavior actually directly. It's just marriage. When you're married to a woman, you are married to your husband. Whether you like it or not, their lifestyle is going to affect you directly. So you have to quickly adjust and modify as to their way of life and adjust to their culture so that you will live with them. Many times you have people who are within the team, they find it difficult adjusting to the team. If you do that, it affects you emotionally and even affects you psychologically. And the psychiatrist will tell you if you do that every day, you have emotional problems. And so it's very important that you quickly learn, adjust, modify your own behavior. Like our other colleagues talking about the emotional bank account. You need to quickly make sure you will not be making a lot of withdrawal from your team. If you are making a lot of withdrawal from your team, you'll be comfortable working with team. So, as you make a lot of deposit into your emotional bank account, a lot of your team members will also be making a lot of deposits to the team, and then the team will be able to work together in a very harmonious manner, and then cordiality and coordination to work, so guys can achieve your results working as a team. So this is what I just will say quickly about the second question. Thank you very much. I mean, there were a lot of brains in my ear here, so I couldn't contribute earlier on. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Simon. Mr. Asante, please go ahead.
Yes. The second question concerning living with the team you are given.
Yes, please.
I saw his experience as a very good one, an insightful one, especially when you work in the public service where you don't have a say. You know, like recently the government is doing a blanket employment of people, and then they're just posted to you. So if you find yourself as a manager and people are just posted to you, I liked what he said, that he realized that the people must have something in them. So then your focus should be on the positive sides, and then your focus should be on looking at identifying the strengths of the various people that you are given, and looking at identifying their strength, and then giving them the needed capacity so that you let them know and understand what is needed of them, and putting them in various places. So with this background, knowing their strength, knowing you've given them the needed capacity, then you can get them to work in areas where you know they can be effective to give you profit. I saw that as a good lesson, because then as a leader, as a manager, if you find yourself in such a situation, it helps you to build a team, because in learning people's strengths and weaknesses and being able to give them what they need to fulfill that, you are also building them, because you need all the skills in emotional deposits. So showing understanding and being committed, showing real concern and all that, giving them an opportunity to also build themselves. You are building, it's all part of adding to building a strong team. So I saw it as a very important lesson. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's a very fantastic, discovery or insightful contribution. Thank you so much, Mr. Asante. Patience, yes. Kindly unmute. Your hand is up. Patience.
Hi, I think I raised my hand for the first question. But let me say
Okay.
something more about this one too.
Yes.
So like Teacher Asante just said, sometimes you don't have control over the people that you are going to work with. Even if you choose the people may have some weaknesses that you have no idea about. And it's only when you start working with them that you get to know that this is what the person is actually made of, or this is the person's weakness. But sometimes you as the leader, in the person's weakness can come out a strength. Sometimes you can build on someone's weakness, and by the time the group or the team is dissolved, the person would have come out better and not leaving the same as the person came. So it's our responsibility also as team leaders to help build on the weaknesses of our team members and build upon the strength as well of those who are already, who know their way around or who know what they are in for. But there are others that it's probably their first time working on a team. So it's also our responsibility as team members and as team leaders to assist such people. So in this case, even if you have control over the people, you choose a person to be part of the team, but you don't know that this person has a weakness in this particular field. So whether you have control or you don't have control, you have to work with the person. You have to bring the best out of the person. And that is what I think a leader is supposed to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Patient, for that contribution. Yes. I think the last thing we've been trying to do is how to as the concept and the practice in this model applied to our cultural settings, and how we can bring this concept into practicality. And that's the key thing as far as this program is concerned, bringing them into action to get the results. But we'll need, how do we go about that transition from knowledge to practice, then to results? That's the third question. I think this meeting was supposed to close at 6. We are like 15 minutes from our closing time, so we should be rounding up quickly. Yes. So we invite maybe one, input from the third question, then we would be closing up. Yes, just any input on the third question on how to bring about this concept into practice in our various works settings. Yes, Richard, please go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. For me, I think I've learned a lot actually. I learned a lot from this presentation in terms of team building, and I believe that there's no problem that cannot be solved. So every problem has a solution too, and the very important key is being able to identify every problem in a team, not necessarily to promote it or to improve on it, but to maintain the effectiveness of a team. Sometimes we are thinking of improving the effectiveness of a team, but one also important thing is maintaining the effectiveness of a team. So I believe that these concepts and practices are very, very essential, especially the five foundations. Yes, trust, healthy conflict, commitment, and then the other two. They are very, very important. And so in applying them in a cultural setting, as actually a physiotherapist in practice, I believe I have higher supervisors and higher senior colleagues. And so what I need to do is, in terms of commitment, I know that if I'm seeing patients, I know that I have to report to them in terms of how they are faring. In case my my senior colleague is not around, I need to make sure that everything I do, I'm able to account very well. And that will show how responsible I am in terms of being given opportunity to probably do something at a higher level. And also in terms of being present at hello, sorry,
Yeah, Richard.
sorry. So okay, in terms of healthy conflicts, there are instances where I might not be able to agree with my senior colleagues, but then I should also sit down and also reflect on the fact that despite the fact that I'm wrong and they are right, I should be able to manage and absorb some shocks. Definitely, in every relationship, there'll be shocks. I should be able to absorb the shocks and then learn from it and not repeat it. Maybe a wrong that I have done or my senior colleague has done. In case he's going to repeat the same wrong that I know I can't handle, I should be able to strategize and manage it. So I believe it's been a good study in terms of team building, and there's more to it that I can learn from. Yes, okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. Okay,
Hello.
would call on Mohammed Sharif, yes, to give your, yes. Sharif, if you can unmute, yes.
Yes, a quick one to your last question. From the module, I can really appreciate that the concepts that we are being taught is not really alien from what is expected of us in our cultural environment, because we come from a background where communal activities is well propagated. But unfortunately, it appears that the wave of this modernization and culture borrowing is actually changing us in a little way, to such an extent that we are unable to properly apply these kind of values in our daily lives as well as in the workplace. So I believe that if we're able to take these lessons seriously, and whichever team anybody is involved in, we try as much as possible to foster healthy relationships, it will go a long way to enhancing the team function. And one thing that I've noted or noticed is that people tend to be self-centered. And there's this thing about individualism. Many are so much interested in their own self-interest to the detriment of the group. So you find people who come in late to work, or when they even come early, they decide to leave early and go and then say do locums. So they leave their work, they leave the group, and then go and then attend to their individual self, trying to make themselves rich overnight. And we also have those who actually bring in certain kind of attitudes and then more or less tarnish the image of the group. If we're able to more or less desist from all these negativities and then concentrate on the positive ones, I believe that it will really, 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 really be great. We should also cultivate the habits of more or less sharing our skills. When we try to more or less keep all these things to ourselves and then try to be individualistic, and we are only interested when we even get certain ideas, we are interested in keeping those ones to ourselves. We don't share it with the group. It more or less undermines really the group purpose. So if we're able to go back and then integrate these kind of concepts very well, and whatever groups that we find ourselves in, we're able to bring all these tools on board, it will really go a long way to enhancing the group work. So that's basically what I have to say concerning that. It's not alien to our culture, but we find people really more or less putting up certain attitudes which are more or less inimical to the group interest. Where they got it from, only God knows. All right, so that's my interest, my take on this point. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sherry, for that contribution. Yes, I think we have passed the the time that this meeting was supposed to lapse, and then one of the lessons is not to do a withdrawal. So we are very mindful of your time. Would like to thank each and everyone that participated in this site group discussions. Your contributions have been very, very insightful and very refreshing. I think we'll be applying these ideas in our various places of work to make our workplaces and then our country and our continent a better place. I'd like to thank everyone for coming, attending the site meeting, and then also sharing your ideas. For those of us that have not yet completed the Module 2 quiz and then the ILP, let's try as much as possible to complete them. And then also Module 3 will be starting from tomorrow. So we also try as much as possible to do that. Those that have challenged so far with the quizzes or the ILP, kindly indicate it on the group so that we can be able to resolve those issues very quickly, so that we can all move together and keep the momentum and then be able to finish in a very, great way. Yes. But before I close, Sheriff, you have a question or?
Yeah. I want to find out the ILP. Do we have to submit them as and when we complete each module, or we have to wait when we complete the first 3 modules, then we send all the 3 together? Because that was the understanding I was getting from what I read. So I'm not so sure whether we should send ILP for module 1 as and when we finish and we are ready to submit ILP for module 1, or we should wait and gather all 1, 2, 3 together and then submit it as a go.
Yes, we're going to which would submit the Module 1, the ILPs for Module 1, 2, and 3 after the Module 3. That would be after Module 3. That's this coming Sunday. But what I'm referring to is, as we finish Module 1, we sort of like fill in the questions for the ILP in the Word document and save it, so that we don't maybe wait till the end of this week and then try to maybe
do all the things.
Module 1 ILP. Yes. So as soon as we finish with the quiz or the discussion, then we also fill in the question. Then we can be able to go ahead with the momentum. Yes.
Hello.
It will be due. The part 1 of the ILP will be due this coming Sunday. Yes. All right.
Hello.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Chum, please go ahead.
Please. So should we fill it over there, or we should just copy it somewhere and then do it somewhere, or we should just do everything there?
With the ILP, it's a Word document. So as we do it, we'll just type the answers to the questions and then save it on our computer.
Okay.
A Word document. So when you come to the Module 1, I think we have about 4 questions under the Module 1 of the ILP. So we'll just fill in the answers.
Okay, and leave it there, and just save it there.
Yes, on the computer. Yes. Then when it is due, that will be this coming Sunday. They will activate the submission button.
Okay.
We'll now upload it. We'll upload all the answers that was provided for Module 2 and then Module 3. We'll upload everything and send.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, please. Yes. Please, any other questions or question as far as assignments are concerned? All right. Okay. So I'd like to once again thank everyone for participating actively in this site group meeting. And then we'll call on Sheriff, if you are there, to give us a closing prayer quickly, and then we'll close the curtain on today's meeting. Yes.
All right. All right, we thank God for this very day and for this insightful discussion. We pray that He continues to bless us with this ability and capacity. We pray that He strengthens our mind's memory so that whatever we learn from this course will be a blessing to not each one of us, but to everybody that we interact with. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you so much. Okay, so on this note, we're getting for today's side group discussion. Thank you so much, and have a very fruitful evening. Bye-bye.
Hello.
Bye.
Hello.
Yes, Kingsley.
Hello.
Yes,
yeah,
Kingsley.
please, I want to know with a download with a recorded lectures now, where can we get it? Because I was asking about it, I wouldn't get it.
Yes, we'll put the link on the page.
Okay.
On the page. Yes, please. All right.
All right, thank you.
And you're not more. Wait, I'm going to show. Back on your fence. Good. I'm only going to do. Hey, and then it's not to the Bankuno. It's the third time since. I know where they
Sandra, meet yourself.
I'm